Many people nowadays have the misconception that President Donald Trump is a racist and he's accomplished nothing worthy of praise during his presidency. This simply isn't true. First, let me start with the biggest claim held against him, is that he is in fact a big ol' racist. Let's look at the evidence here. Think of the First Step Act. This act allows inmates who believe their sentence in jail is unfairly long to get their case reviewed. Since Trump signed this prison reform bill, over 2,000 people benefited from it at the end of his first year, 91% of them being black men, with their sentences reduced around 70 months. That's pretty incredible. Black men with unjust sentences for minor drug-related crimes can finally go home to their families. Now we go on to illegal immigration. Many people are against Trump because of his racism towards immigrants, but illegal immigration hurts the lowest economic strata in our society, namely the black people, the most. Because of illegal immigration, 1.6 million blacks are out of work. The illegal immigrants are coming into America and taking blue-collar jobs because they are willing to do the lowest-paying jobs for less than what is legally allowed, minimum wage. So the people who aren't even legally allowed in America are putting our black American citizens out of work. Trump took measures to prevent that with the secure border. As of 2019, the number of illegal immigrants went down dramatically, from the highest point of the year by 75% and was 35% lower than the previous year. Trump also wants children to have better education. Since many black children unfortunately live in poorer communities with the worst public schools, Trump advocates for charter schools so that these children can get a better education. But Democrats are against charter schools. Charter schools are shown to raise his kids' grades so much that numerous black parents are lining up to get their children into these schools. Joe Biden sent his children to private schools, but he doesn't support poor families attending charter schools. He wants to eliminate the opportunity for a poor family to get a better education without having to pay more money. Do you still think Trump is racist? Well, as of 2019, the unemployment rate for blacks was at the lowest it has ever been in 50 years. That's the most number of blacks have jobs than in half a century because of President Trump's policies that have created a better business environment. He has done more for blacks than our first black president and Joe Biden. Now, what has Trump done for all of us? After all, he keeps pressing on his slogan, "Make America Great Again." Well, has he? In 2016 election, Trump made a list of things America would start winning in if he was elected. He listed off things we'd succeed in if he was elected president. During Trump's presidency, the military became ever so strengthened, and everyone was blown away by this. Even Mike Bloomberg, a Democratic presidential candidate, said the military today is better prepared than in an awfully long time. And Trump said he would defeat ISIS, but he actually destroyed ISIS. ISIS was able to establish their caliphate in Iraq during Obama's presidency, but before Trump had completed his 2 years, ISIS's caliphate was destroyed, and their leader, Abu al-Baghdadi, was dead. ISIS is gone. The hundreds of people murdered in terrorist attacks, the thousands raped, pillaged, and plundered, and hundreds of thousands displaced from their homes have seen respite because of Trump. He has also ordered the assassination of Qasem Soleimani, the Iranian general, in January 2020. He was responsible for the death of 600 American soldiers in neighboring Iraq and numerous attacks on coalition bases in the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. Trump is not a racist according to statistics. He frees black inmates who have too long sentences in prison. He protects blacks from going out of work by illegal immigrants. He advocates for charter schools for the poorer black communities, and he has lowered the black unemployment rate drastically lower than Obama and Biden. Plus, Trump has also strengthened our military and defeated ISIS completely. The media makes him out to be way worse than he actually is. They made everyone believe he didn't condemn the neo-Nazi rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, by sharing a clip saying there are fine people on both sides. However, if you watch the entire clip, you'll learn that he actually excludes the neo-Nazis from that and does indeed condemn them. He condemns white supremacy on multiple accounts and disavows the David Duke endorsement. He keeps distancing himself from white supremacists and constantly and consistently disavows the KKK. So listen, Trump doesn't do himself any favors with the way he speaks. He offends people quite a bit and seems to have no filter. He has no style, but he did so much good for America as president. He has lots of substance. Trump has no style, but lots of substance. We don't elect a president for his style as much as we elect one for his substance, what he can provide. And Trump did just that. President Trump has not been as efficient as my affirmative claimed. His successes were pointed out, but not his failures, especially during the time of the pandemic. In the wake of the protests sprouting from the death of George Floyd, Trump handled the police protests in such a way that divided the country more than it united. The president had peaceful protesters tear-gassed near the White House so he could pose for a photo with a Bible at a nearby church. That seems rather oxymoronic for the situation. He has consistently demonized anti-racism demonstrators and controversially sent federal agents into U.S. cities to squash unrest and intimidate the local population. My affirmative claim that Trump has no style but lots of substance, and the latter is more important. He indeed lacks style, but that actually harms him a lot, especially tarnishing the image of our country. He's repeatedly insulted important U.S. allies while cozying up to dictators. His tendency to push key allies away and isolate the U.S., including by pulling out of landmark international agreements like the Paris Climate Accord, has had a tangible impact. People around the world have expressed negative views on Trump. Pew Research Center in January 2020 released a survey of 32 countries that showed a median of 64% said they did not have confidence in Trump to do the right thing in world affairs, and just 29% expressed confidence in the president. Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic has also left the U.S. embarrassed on the world stage and created a void in global leadership that China has rushed to fill. While the president has succeeded in eliminating ISIS, Trump's decision to unilaterally withdraw the U.S. from the 2015 Iran nuclear deal in 2018 has caused chaos throughout the Middle East. It remains one of Trump's most unpopular decisions in the global arena and has been condemned by top U.S. allies who were also signers in the deal. The president has failed to thwart Iran's aggressive behavior in the region through a maximum pressure campaign. Lastly, the president has failed terribly during the time of the coronavirus outbreak. The U.S. has the worst coronavirus outbreak in the world, with over 6.3 million confirmed cases and nearly 230,000 reported fatalities. The U.S. has more coronavirus cases than the populations of many countries. Trump has repeatedly downplayed the threat of the virus and contradicted top public health experts. In March, Trump privately admitted to veteran reporter Bob Woodward that he was misleading the public on the dangers of the virus in an effort to avoid inducing panic. The people have the right to know the truth. We don't need sugarcoating, and Trump trying to protect us from panic is worse because he is hiding the truth from us. President Trump cannot lead America in a state of crisis, and we need a change in leadership. He has divided us because of the pandemic and because of all his failures as President of the United States. President Trump has his share of accomplishments and failures. It's been proven that he is not racist, but is one of the most beneficial presidents to Black Americans. He succeeded in military, he advocates for charter schools and the First Step Act. He dramatically decreased illegal immigration and disavows white supremacy. On the other hand, he divided the country when dealing with the police protests, tarnished America's image to the U.S. foreign allies, failed contracts with the Middle East by withdrawing from them, therefore causing chaos, and failed to deal with the coronavirus outbreak.